Today on A Home That Heals.
She goes to walk by me and I stopped her with this huge smile on my face and I was like, oh my goodness, that is the cutest shirt I have ever seen in my entire life. Please do not tell me those are the sequins that go up and down and change colors. And she started to get this wry little smile.
Oh my.
And I was like, it is, isn't it? Oh, you got to show me.
It's so good to have you along with us today. I'm Dee, and my daughter Bree. We get to do this podcast together, and sometimes it's the only time during the week that we can actually sit down for a few minutes and chat, and we're just so glad you're joining us.
We really are. This has been so fun to create this community that just gets each other. You know, I feel like we're finding our tribe. I love that phrase, find your tribe. And I feel like we are. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about today is something that was just a huge win for me in a moment with one of my friends recently. And I thought, this is what it is about. Finding your tribe, finding people who just get you, get your kids, know how to come alongside, that whole phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, here at A Home That Heals, we believe you were made for this. You are the parent, you know your kids best and you love them best. And you can surround yourself with a village that will love and nurture them in such a profound way. And so we have a little tip today because, we know those times, right? When our precious little bundles of joy just suddenly transform into these fire-breathing, tantrum-throwing tornadoes. I mean, it's like a switch is just totally flipped.
Oh, it is so true. And if you don't have a child that does that, it's hard to understand it because it can happen just on a dime and you're, whoa, wait, what just happened here?
Yeah, and you don't know how to help. You don't know what to do. And there's something that you can do. I call this my ultimate weapon.
And it's I'm with you, babe. This is a really, really powerful tool. So be listening because this works. And if it works for us, it'll work for you.
But here's the thing. This is, even if you're like, I don't have kids that throw tantrums. I don't need this. Please listen, please, because this weapon is most effective when used by somebody who is not the parent. I mean, it can be effective with the parent. We'll talk about that more a little bit later. But if you are not the parent, you have like my kids are into like power-ups. They talk about that all the time. I got a power-up. This is the ultimate power-up. If you are just an acquaintance or a friend or a family member or even a stranger, frankly. So listen in because you are going to get equipped today. I'm going to tell you this story. But first, I have to explain this. There is something that happens with certain kids, not all kids, but when they go into that meltdown tantrum mode, they call it scientifically, that their lid is flipped. They really, there's a whole scientific explanation behind it. Look it up if you haven't heard about it. We've talked about it on the podcast in the past, but it is like, basically to just quickly explain it, there is no rationale anymore. They are not thinking logically. Their lid is flipped. They have gone into fight or flight, freeze mode, and there is no way to reason with them in this time.
You can't reach them. You can't, in that moment, you can't reason with them.
No. So it might have started out with like a little tantrum because I didn't get what I wanted, but then this can go to just full on meltdown. There's no coming back from it. And really, that's not the time to like work with your kids, and explain to them why their behavior is wrong. It's a time to take a mental note of what happened and certainly address it later. But there's not really any reasoning with them in that moment. So more it's survival mode. Okay, how do we not completely create chaos in the sphere that we are inhabiting right now?
Right.
Or get the cops called on us because somebody thinks that my child is dying because they're screaming so loud.
Yeah.
So when this flipped lid happens, it's a parent's worst nightmare. It is so difficult and it is so stressful and it is so, so hard. So if you have this tool, this powerful weapon in your pocket, you are going to help yourself. You're going to help your kids, or you might be able to help another parent as they're going through this. And that is the power of distraction. So hear my story. The other day, we were at a barbecue. We're hanging out, and sweet family is there that we just really love chatting with. And we've shared a lot because we both have kids that do this, that they kind of go into this meltdown mode. And so I already knew that, about her daughter. And we're sitting there chatting, and all of a sudden, this little girl starts marching over from across the lawn, and you can just see it written all over her face,
boy,
right? She is mad, and she's about to lose it. And the parents said something too, like, oh boy, they knew it was coming. And she starts walking up, but she was going to have to walk past me to get to her mama to tell her, the serious injustice that her brother had just caused her. And so she goes to walk by me, and I stopped her with this huge smile on my face. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is the cutest shirt I have ever seen in my entire life. Please do not tell me those are the sequins that go up and down and change colors. And she started to get this wry little smile.
Oh my.
And I was like, it is, isn't it? Oh, you got to show me what it does. And so she starts, moving it up and down, showing me the different pictures. And I said, oh, that is so cute. And look at the sunglasses on the little son. That's adorable. And is yellow your favorite color? I love yellow. It makes me so happy anytime I see the color yellow. And she's kind of answering me, still wanting to walk over to her mom to tell her all about what just happened. And pretty soon she starts answering me more. I start asking her about school. Now, I forgot, sweetheart, what grade are you in? And she tells me, and school's about to be ending. And so have you already had your last day? Oh, no, that's this week. Oh, do you get to have a huge party? I mean, I am just firing off as many questions as I could possibly think. And before I know it, she's telling me all about her school carnival that they're going to have and her plans for the summer and just how much fun she's going to have. And I'm still asking questions. And all of a sudden she looks at me and she says, are you done asking me questions? Because I really want to go play. I said, oh yeah, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. You just go have a good time. And she walked away, and the mom and I just started laughing, and she was like way too distract. And we started talking about how that is so powerful. It just was enough to get her off that track. She completely, by the end of it, forgot what she had marched over for.
I bet her body language and everything was so different.
Oh, completely different.
Yeah.
And like we talked about, though, what's funny is it could have worked for her mom. She could have marched over to her mom, and her mom could have tried to distract her with something. But it was more powerful because it was me. It was somebody different. It was somebody who was able to completely get her off the track of, the horrible thing her brother had done to her and how frustrated she was at her brother because I wasn't mom, Now, I do this with my kids all the time. And I will tell you, 100 times it'll work. And 150 it won't.
Yeah.
Just, you have to.
Kind of depends.
It depends. And so for me, it's worth trying. I might as well try to distract them.
Yeah.
Because I have that, chance of not encountering the meltdown. But I also want to encourage you, if you are a friend or a family member of somebody, really look for these opportunities.
Makes it kind of fun, actually.
It is. Oh, it is so fun.
But as a grandma, I will tell you, I've learned the hard way. There are some things you shouldn't do. And I wish I could say I didn't do these things, but I did. One of the things because I picked up on this idea just from watching you. So I would do it, but I would immediately start asking a question, like, oh, did you have fun at the park yesterday? Or, something dumb like that. No. You ask a question like that, their brain is not engaged enough to get off of that high emotional state to then start to rationally answer even a simple question like about going to the park yesterday. I think what you did was brilliant because you weren't giving her a chance to really do anything other than show off her cute, t-shirt. And so I think that's really important because, I'm the kind that I ask a lot of questions. That usually is something that I like to do, but I've got to realize that when their lid is flipped, you got to get them kind of back into sort of a mode where they can actually answer some questions.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I do think that is the art of it, is at first talking a lot and being very excited. I think, there are people that have that very calming, peaceful presence about them. And so they might have a different tactic that works about really helping calm them. I don't have that spirit. I have a very energetic, lively spirit. So I'm going to do everything I can to get that kid excited about what I'm talking about and to try to paint a picture and get them focused. And that really is what it is. It's shifting their mindset. It's getting them to completely shift what they're thinking about and then start asking little questions that are easy for them to answer. And then pretty soon they're talking and they're all excited to tell you a story. But it takes a little while because it takes a lot to get off that track. They are hyper-focused and they are in fight or flight mode. And so you really have to work hard at it.
Yeah.
But it is fun. It is so fun. And it's fun to see what you do for the kid. And I know there's been times with my own children where then later I've been able to talk to them about how upset they were. Yet was that really worth getting upset for? Because then once you shifted your mindset, instead of ending up, coming over and complaining and crying and getting mad and being upset, you ran out and you played kickball and you had a blast.
Yeah.
And so it helps them kind of see, oh, wow, maybe I don't have to get so upset about the little things because then I miss out on a lot of fun.
Yeah. Good. I love this strategy. I've watched it work too, so I can honestly say it's a good one. And and Bree said it's not going to work every time. So if it doesn't work the first couple times you try it, maybe try again. Try some of the nuances that we've talked about a little bit so that you can perfect it and make it an art in your own home to kind of get off that track. I picture a train track in my kids' brains, my kiddos' brains. So I see this track going, all around. And then it's almost like a crane going in and just taking that train off that track and finding another one that they can then go around and find a little better place to be in. So thanks for sharing that story. That's a great story. It's a good one. I think you have another story for us too, don't you?
Oh, I do. We had a really, really wonderful breakthrough moment with my oldest, and I can't wait to tell you about it when we get back. So stick around. You'll hear a little bit more about what's happening at our farm and with our horses.
KTSY presents the all-new Stories Unveiled podcast, hosted by Ashley Sears, where she invites guests to discuss how God is impacting their lives right here in the Treasure Valley.
We talk about the purpose in every story and how to live in freedom from your past. Each episode, you're invited into a conversation about real life. If an issue is addressed in the Bible, then it's important to create a safe and supportive space to discuss it.
New episodes of the Stories Unveiled podcast are now available at ktsy.org/podcasts or listen at all major podcast providers.
The Stories Unveiled podcast is created in partnership with KTSY and Barefoot Media Ministries. For more encouragement and other podcasts, visit ktsy.org.
Well, we have these two horses that, oh my gosh, they are the sweetest things ever. Miss Ruby and Miss Charm, they are so kind and I just adore them. And I adore mostly what they're doing for my kids, how God is using them to just really be such a healing piece of our journey with the kids. And one thing, though, our oldest, he loves going out there. He loves going and being with the horses, but he just hasn't really wanted to get up on them. It's difficult for him to get up there, and I think it just kind of intimidates him a little bit, but he loves being around them.
And they love him.
They love him. They adore him. And so I've just been praying because I've really, really wanted him to enjoy being able to ride them. There's actually a lot of physical benefits if he can get up on them and start riding them more. That actually would help him a lot with some of the challenges he faces. And so that, frankly, is one of the reasons we got the horses. And so the fact that he hasn't really wanted to ride them has been discouraging to me. But I've been trying not to push it and just rest in the fact that, God knows and he needs to be able to do it on his terms. Well, the other day, we were going to have a horse lesson for one of my younger sons. And we were getting ready. We were going to load up just one of the horses for the horse lesson. And my oldest came bounding out and he said, "Hey, Mom, could you load up Charm?" And I said, "Well, I think your brother's going to ride Ruby." Well, I was thinking maybe I'd do the lesson today too.
Whoa, like, that's huge.
What? I hadn't asked.
Where did that come from?
I'd have no idea where that came from. And so in my mind, I'm thinking all the logistics, like, is that going to be okay with the gal who teaches the horse lessons?
Yeah.
And do I have like enough gear? Do I have, I've got the saddle. Okay, I have the blankets. Okay, yeah, I think we can make that happen. And because I know if I hesitate, then never mind, it's fine.
Oh, that's so true. That is so true. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing to remember because I've seen that a lot, especially with kiddos like your oldest. You just can't hesitate. You got to jump on it.
Yeah. So I said, "Oh, absolutely, buddy. Yeah. Just 1 minute. Go get the halter. Just a minute. I'll be right there and load her up." So I hurry and I dial the gal with the horse lesson and I call her and she was super sweet about it. And she was like, "Oh yeah, that's no problem. That'd be great." And so we grab Charm, we load her up, and I am just so excited. I'm just praying, "Oh Lord, please let this just be awesome. Let this be such a good thing. Help it to be a positive experience for him." I'm just so excited. And we start pulling out with the horse trailer, and they're just like kicking and making a ton of noise. The horses, yeah, not the kids. That happens
After
too.
our last episode, they might think you're talking about the kids.
That's right. No, the horses, they're causing a lot of commotion back there. And it's kind of making me nervous because I know if they seem all nervous, maybe he's not going to want to get up on them. And so we get to the horse lesson and start pulling the horses out. And sure enough, one of them had cut her leg really quite bad.
Oh.
I don't know if it was her hoof, from her stomping around or what happened, but she had cut it pretty bad and she was sweating and she was pretty stressed.
Which one was it?
Charm.
Oh, Charm.
The one that he was
wanted
supposed to ride.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just was feeling so discouraged. I kept praying and he came out, my son came out of the trailer and just was so good with her. And he was just telling her, "It's okay." And he's brushing her and he's helping me get her cleaned up. And my younger son went ahead and took Ruby and started getting ready, with the horse lesson. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, this is probably not going to happen today. But that's okay. He's really helping calm her and he's being, great about it. So we got her cleaned up and then she's also just kind of winning and freaking out because Ruby went away. And it's just all these components that I really felt discouraged. And I feel like this is probably not going to happen. Well, we finally get her ready. We get her saddled just to see, how she's doing. And she's walking fine. She's very calm now. She's not sweating anymore. And so I went ahead and walked her over to the arena and I said, "Do you want to get up on her?" And he was like, "Yep, I'm ready." And by golly, he goes in, he gets up on her. He's so calm and confident up there. She was so good with him. She's actually, sometimes she's kind of hard to lead. She wants to go where she wants to go. And she was listening to him.
Really?
And wow. I tell you what, if you would have walked up, you would have thought, "What on earth is going on?" Because I was a blubbering mess. I really tried to make sure nobody, the kids couldn't see, but I was just weeping because, the lessons that taught him and just to see him comfort her, to help calm her, to explain that even though she was anxious and worried, she didn't have to be afraid. And then simultaneously to be seeing him do something that he has been anxious and afraid and worried about for so long.
Yeah.
And to see them work together as a team, it was the most beautiful thing. It was such a gift from God, and I was so grateful and so thankful.
Oh, and you'll replay that in your mind over and over again. Those are those moments that live on. Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you for sharing that. We do believe that animals are one of God's greatest blessings, whether it's a turtle. I've seen turtles be really fun for kids. Yeah. But of course we love the horses and the alpacas and the dogs and the cat. All of it. We love it all. But we're just so really, really want to encourage you that whatever it is, if you make your child, if you're a student of your child, if you kind of see what kind of clicks with them and what works. And Brie, I think you just told a story that really demonstrates something that I wish I had been better at, and that's not pushing. Being patient and waiting and letting kids kind of find their way.
Yeah.
Pointing them in the right direction, giving them opportunities, but then not pushing it, because sometimes we push them too fast and they get discouraged or it doesn't go well. So good on you.
Well, I've learned that from experience, because
Yeah.
I have done that too, and I've seen them get discouraged. And so there's power in that. There is power in being patient and just allowing them to kind of go at their own pace and encouraging them. But
Yeah.
I am so thankful. If you have some stories like this too, how you use animals in your own home to just make it more healing and to really reflect, those principles that God is teaching you, we would love to hear those.
Oh, those are the best. Send a picture too.
Oh,
We
please.
love those pictures. That would be great.
Yeah, you can send us a message on Instagram or Facebook on A Home That Heals. And we just appreciate you being here today, being a part of this community. Thank you, KTSY, for giving us this opportunity and allowing us to find our tribe and to remind you today that you were made by a God who loves you, who loves your children. He created you and He created them, and you were made for this.
A Home That Heals is produced in partnership with 89.5 KTSY. To find out more about them, go to ktsy.org.